Hi, everybody. Jay Privman, the national correspondent of Daily Racing Form, along with Mike Watchmaker. He's the national handicapper with Daily Racing Form. And as you know, every week we put together the Derby Watch Top 20. And Mike, this week's list was significantly impacted by one of the races we're going to recap here, that being the Tampa Bay Derby. The 1-2 finishers are the two newcomers to our top 20. Let's talk about those horses.
Well, the winner of the race was Tacitus, Jay, and he did capitalize on a perfect pace setup and a perfect trip to take the Tampa Bay Derby. But I still think that this horse, this is a horse with some serious potential going forward. This was his first start in 4 months, first start around 2 turns, first start with Lasix, first start in a stakes race, first start against winners. And he still won and won decisively. And I only think he's going to get better off of this race. And I'm high on this horse. I think he has the potential to be a significant player down the road.
And he certainly has just a tremendous pedigree. And I agree with you. I think he's got the potential to move forward off the race, having needed it. And for all the things that you outlined, this certainly looks like a horse who has the potential to go forward as we move on towards the Derby. As for Outshine, who finished second in the race, Mike, you mentioned that you thought the winner had a perfect trip. If he had a perfect trip, then the runner-up had a pluperfect trip, because he sat, I thought, third behind 2 dueling leaders and ran on well to be second, but I thought he was certainly no more than second best. To me, he didn't have a visible excuse vis-a-vis the winner.
Well, I agree with that, Jay. I mean, it was Outshine's first start around 2 turns, but he is bred to love distance. So, I think that probably played to his strength. The thing of it is that finishing second in the Tampa Bay Derby, even with a good setup, makes him a lot better than a lot of the other horses that could have been on this list in place of him. So, finishing second in the Tampa Bay Derby to a colt that we both like, gained him entrance onto our list this week.
Very much so. Another race that Derby Watch Top 20 contenders were in last Saturday was the Gotham. In fact, there's 3 horses in this race who were on our Derby Watch Top 20 and remain on our Derby Watch Top 20. But the interesting thing, I think, regarding this, Mike, is that more than half of these horses, if not all, I think you and I are circumspect over how far they want to run. But let's start with the winner, High Cal, who you talked about the setup that Tacitus got. Boy, what a setup High Cal got in the Gotham.
He did get a ridiculously good setup. I mean, the Gotham was very reminiscent to me of the Fountain of Youth Stakes. I mean, it was a colder, more northern 1-turn version of the Fountain of Youth, but the pace was absolutely insane. The horse who set the pace, much better, was probably best given the way the race was run. Much Better is not on our list because he's really a sprinter, 1-turn miler type horse. But he ran dynamite to finish a close 4th in that race. High Cal did get a great setup, but he is now won at 6 furlongs. He's now won at 7 furlongs. He's now won at a mile. He's improving with every start in terms of buyer figures. And he's going to get his chance to go distance. I think, more than you do, that I think I think he could get 2 turns under the right circumstances. And I think he's an interesting horse going forward.
And we'll see how he does. His next scheduled start is the Wood Memorial. Mike, let's talk about the 2nd and 3rd place finishers in the race, Mind Control and Instagram. I've said for a long time that I think Mind Control is a 1-turn horse, and he did nothing in this race to dissuade me from that opinion. As for Instagram, yes, he was coming off of a lengthy layoff, but he too has yet to show me that he really wants to go farther than this 1-turn mile. What are your thoughts on those 2 horses?
I'm in general agreement with you here, Jay, which is shocking because usually we're disagreeing. But look, for Mind Control not to have won the Gotham with the trip that he got, I think says everything you want to know about his distance limitations. I mean, I think a mile is probably stretching the envelope with this horse. He's got a right to go on and run the Wood Memorial, but I don't think he's going to win it. Instagram, I think, is a very polarizing horse. There's a lot of people out there that think he can only improve off of this race and he's going to get better. I think he's got to show, I think he's going to show that brilliant early season 2-year-old form wasn't merely a function of being early season 2-year-old form. And he didn't show it in the Gotham. His race was okay, but never at any point did he look like he was a winner. And he's going to have to do better than he did in the Gotham if he's going to be any kind of factor when the races get really serious.
And he'll get a chance to prove that he can go 2 turns in his next and what would be final prep race for the Kentucky Derby. There was one other race that had point scoring last week, and that was the Jeff Ruby Stakes. It was won by Some Like It Hot Brown. He didn't do enough to make our Derby Watch top 20, but we wanted to acknowledge him, and we'll see how he does in the Bluegrass, and maybe if he runs well there, then we will put him on our list. That's our recap of last week's races on the road to the Kentucky Derby. Stay tuned here at DRF.com for a video preview of this week's Big Rebel Stakes, which will be run in 2 divisions. For Mike Watchmaker, I'm Jay Privman. Thanks for watching.